Welcome to Jewels of the Trade. Today, we're going to be talking about Red Jadeite Jade. We'll be discussing the color range of Red Jade, showing quality comparisons, and explaining Red Jade value. If you have any questions about Red Jade or just Jade in general, please leave them in the chat or comments if you're watching this after the fact. You can also refer to the timestamps in the video description if you're wanting to know something very specific. Before we move forward, please note that the term red jade can refer to orange, orange red, brownish red, and reddish brown jadeite jade. It's very rare that true red is seen in natural jade. Nephrite jade can also be somewhat red, but we won't be discussing that as much today. Green is the highest valued color of jadeite jade, with lavender being considered the second highest valued color of jadeite jade. This obviously doesn't mean that green jade is always going to be more valuable than lavender. It means that all other factors being equal, translucency, texture, provenance, cut, and size, the green stone will usually have a higher value than another color. There is certainly low quality, affordable green jadeite jade. So, even though red jade is not in the top 3 of most valuable colors of jadeite jade, it goes without saying that a fine red jade stone is going to be more valuable than a less than fine green or lavender jadeite jade stone. Red jade has a wide range of value, and the finest of true red jade can fetch extremely high prices, though it's so rare that it's almost never seen on the market. The first question about red jade that I want to answer today is what causes the color in red jade? Jadeite is considered allochromatic, meaning when it's pure, it's colorless. For colors such as green and lavender, chromophores are replacing aluminum in the jadeite crystal structure. Chromium or iron in the case of green, manganese or titanium in the case of lavender. Yellow, orange, red, and brown colors in jade are considered a secondary color, meaning the color does not come from chromophores, but rather staining from secondary iron oxide impurities that infect the stone after it's formed. If you'd like to better understand some of these geological complexities, I recommend watching my video interview with Lotus Gemology titled Jade for Gemologists in the video description. So this jade isn't technically considered red jade, and it's certainly not gem quality. But I think this clip will give you an idea of what I mean when I say the rind of a jade boulder, which is something we're going to talk a lot about because the red jade is in the rind. This is a very small piece cut out of a boulder, and the rind is quite thin, but you kind of get the gist. Hunter actually broke this piece of jade on a fake pearl when we were making the pearl identification video, which just goes to show that jade has a range of toughness, and this is an example of jade that is not so tough. This dragon and pearl carving here is an example of a carver using the rind of the boulder in the artwork. Here, you can see the green color touches right up against the brown-red rind of the boulder. If you have any photos or videos you would like to share of red jade in your collection, I encourage you to join the JOT Discord. The link is in the video description. Our Discord server contains accurate, categorical information about jade and hosts lively discussion between jade collectors, researchers, carvers, sellers, and enthusiasts. So the next question that I want to answer about red jade is, how is quality determined in red jade? So let me show you a comparison side by side. The left is a low quality red jade stone, though very unique and enticing. It would look great in a piece of custom jewelry. But the right it's nice, right? It's a medium quality red jade stone, but very nice compared to what is normally seen on the market. In fact, I would actually consider this stone rare, even though it's not super expensive. As you can see, the stone on the right has significantly better color, translucency, and texture than the stone on the left, but it's well under $1,000. A green jade stone of this richness of color, translucency, and evenness would be much, much, much more valuable. It comes down to the desirability of the color. So I mentioned before that most red jade isn't true red, but rather in the orange-red color range. We'll talk about honey jade in a minute, but let me know in the chat or comments what you think red jade should be called. For instance, I like to call juicy red jades whiskey jade. And I did make that up. That's not a real technical term, I promise. So these are examples of like low quality, what I call crumbly jades. Um, this is something I've talked a lot about recently in my live videos, and I finally have an example to actually show you guys. This material is dry and it's less durable than higher quality, more translucent jades. As you can see, any color can be low quality and any color can be high quality as well, though some are more rare than others. For instance, high quality red jadeite jade, like very vivid, like imperial red, highly translucent, true red, is going to be extremely geologically rare. So the higher the translucency, or rather the tighter the internal microstructure, the more tough the jade. So even though jade can be very tough, meaning hard to break, jade of the quality seen here is not tough. It is comparatively easy to break. Have you ever had a piece of treated jade or low quality jade break? Or do you have any stories of a time when your high quality jade could have broken but didn't? Let me know in the chat or comments. Who's here, by the way? I'd love to say hi. Two Genders has a question. Does pool water affect the B jade and B plus C jade? I truly do not know. I personally have not worked with very much B jade or B plus C jade. I know that the color is not always stable, but I'm not exactly sure what types of conditions are going to cause the color to fade. Mason K, are you here? Are you in the chat? If so, maybe you could weigh in and comment on this particular matter, since it's kind of outside my realm of expertise. Erica's here. Hi, Erica. So happy to have you. So great to see everybody. All right. So let's talk a little bit about value. So how is value determined in red jade? Red jade value is based on quality and size, just like it is in like any other color of jade, right? Lower to medium quality red jades tend to be less valuable than other colors because red jade is lesser known, no doubt because fine qualities of red jade are truly exceptionally rare. For someone who is shopping for a warm colored stone but wants something more durable than carnelian, red jade is actually a really affordable option and it's so much more durable. Selling red jade secondhand might be very difficult. Always remember that resale value is not the same as retail replacement value. So, for instance, if you paid $100 retail for a red jade stone, you probably need to ask much less than that on like Facebook Marketplace or eBay or wherever it is that you're trying to sell the piece to actually get it to sell. And that's because many customers will prefer to shop with a trustworthy retailer who's going to be able to offer a warranty, a guarantee, repairs, professional advice, etc. And I'm not going to lie, strangers on the internet have kind of gotten a bad rap. If you're wanting to sell your red jade, I actually recommend send a photo to Mason K through the Sell Your Jade link on their website to see if they might be interested in it. That might be the easiest way for you to sell your piece. But if there's any way you can keep it, I'm sure it's a very, very special stone. And red jade is hard to come by and might be hard to replace if you change your mind. So, an interesting topic came up in our Discord the other day regarding the grading of jade. Jadeite jade treatment codes are sometimes called grades, but as far as quality grading goes, there are no international grading standards for any colored gemstone, jade included. Someone in the Discord actually mentioned the use of a chart in jade grading, and actually, gemologists don't use a chart to determine the quality or value of jade. There is too much nuance that can't be captured on camera, so stones have to be compared side by side and in person when a gemologist or appraiser is trying to determine value. This is a good example of difference in evenness of color, where the stone on the right, which we saw earlier, is more even in color and has better texture than the stone on the left. What sort of jewelry would you set a red jade stone in? Let me know in the chat or the comments. Oh, Mason K, you're here. Mason K says, don't expose treated jade to chlorine. Two Genders, I hope that answers your question. Excellent. Erica, I've sold a red jadeite ring to Mason K. Aw, that's awesome. Yeah, guys, if you ever have a piece that you're wanting to sell, you can always send it to Mason K for testing and for valuing if you're wanting to sell it like on Facebook Marketplace or something like that, or you can just sell it to Mason K as long as it's natural jade and it's something that Mason K wants and thinks, it'll be good for their customers and thinks it's something that their customers will like. So let's go ahead and move on to the next stone. This stone is a mix of white and red. It would also make a very intriguing center for a custom piece of jewelry. It's not perfect by gemological standards, but this is my personal favorite of the batch just because of how unique it is. The stone on the right is the same one we've already seen, and the new stone on the left is the second best loose stone in the batch. So we're looking at the best and the second best side by side. Which one do you like better? The stone on the left is noticeably smaller than the stone on the right, but it's a really beautiful stone. Bright color, but not considered as good of a color because it's closer to orange, like on the color wheel, whereas the stone on the right is closer to red. These would both be called red jade, but neither's considered like true red, like red on the color wheel red, right? Like we're still in that kind of orange red kind of range. Did you guys have any alternative name suggestions for red jade, like honey jade and whiskey jade? Did you think of anything? I've always thought desert jade would be another good one because you think of like desert sunsets and I don't know. I just really love Tucson, Arizona because of the gem show. So I like the idea of desert jade. The nicest loose stone in the batch here is pretty close in color to this fine strand of beads, which exhibit fantastic translucency, a very rare attribute in red jade. Remember, it's the rind of the boulder. It's like the outside. So it tends to be drier, and finding like the juicy translucent red jade is so unusual. The beads are nicer in that they have more inner glow than the loose cab. They have a rich color and they are less included. You can see the stone on the right has white mineral concentrations, sometimes called pollen inclusions. A strand of matched translucent red jade beads is extremely hard to find. The rind of a boulder is typically so thin and often dry, it's hard to get good quality material at all. Nonetheless, a whole strand of matched beads. This honestly might be the nicest strand of red jade beads I've personally seen in real life, like ever. I also kind of wanted to address the issue of heated jade. So occasionally you'll see red jade selling online that looks particularly dry, and there's like a very like sort of distinct texture that heated jade will have, and it'll look kind of dry and kind of brownish, and that's because it has been heated. So heated red jade, that's just a type of treatment by heating that can change the color to make it a little bit richer, but that treatment usually is pretty noticeable, especially to like a gemologist, or like for instance the crew at Mason K, like they know if they see heated jade, like they can detect it really really quickly and really easily. But it's not the same as like the B+C treatment, right, where it's been like acid bleached and dyed and like has had all this stuff done to it. So be aware of heated jade, but don't be super super afraid of it, right? Just because it's not going to be like as problematic as some of the other treatments. Another question that I wanted to answer is red jade rare? So remember, jadeite jade is geologically rare, having less than 20 known deposits in the entire world, many of which are difficult to mine or even get to at all. Gem quality jadeite jade is much more geologically rare. Of the 20 known deposits of jadeite jade, very few of them produce any notable quantity of gem quality jadeite jade. Really just the mines in Myanmar and Guatemala. There is some good quality in Russia, but so little of it can be mined because of like the environmental conditions. The red part of a jade boulder is usually like the smallest part, right? Because it's the thin rind at the outside of the boulder. Most jadeite jade boulder rinds will not have high translucency true red jade at all. It's very unusual. So, red jade is rarely seen in jewelry stores. It's rarely seen out in public, on people, and in ultra fine qualities, few pieces exist at all. Yes, red jade is rare, but not all red jade is valuable, which is why it can be an affordable alternative to other colors of jade. So let's go ahead and move on to the next piece. Oh, I see that we have some activity in the chat. Hello, everybody is chit-chatting. Cinnamon. Oh my gosh, cinnamon jade. You can have some coffee, like a little cappuccino in your cinnamon jade. Whoo, whoo, I love that. We should call it that. Mason K, can we call it that? That sounds amazing. Does jade hold its value? This is such a good question, and I love answering this question. So here's what needs to be known about all jewelry. When you buy jewelry at a jewelry store, part of what you're paying for is the warranty, the guarantee, the repairs, the professional advice. Like you're getting this experience and you're getting like this assurance of what you're buying. You, a customer, can't offer as a secondhand seller a person that same type of experience. You can't offer, you're just, if you're not in the trade, you can't offer a warranty. You can't really offer a guarantee. They're just kind of having to trust you. So as a secondhand seller, you are honestly, it would be unrealistic to be able to expect to make the amount back that you paid when you bought your piece, because people are paying for trust. That's why they're going to a jewelry store or to a source like Mason K. So jade does, it is valuable, and it might even increase in value, especially at the retail level. But you should not buy jade with the intention of it being an investment, meaning you shouldn't buy jade with the intention of selling it and trying to get like more money than what you paid for it. It's not that that doesn't happen, and I've certainly heard of stories where that does happen, but I wouldn't bank on it, because most discerning jade customers are going to want to buy from a trustworthy seller. And if they are buying from a secondhand seller on Facebook Marketplace or eBay, which I've done too, they're going to expect it to be a better deal because they know that you can't offer all of the amazing things that a jewelry store can offer. So I hope that that answers your question. Erica supports cinnamon. Okay, I feel like, should we get a petition going? Like, what's the next step? I definitely think we should call it cinnamon jade. Oh, Mason K also said that heated red jade usually appears sugary or grainy. So that is very good to know too. And if you guys have any questions about heated jade, definitely leave them in the comments, because Mason K, the experts at Mason K, are here and they can help answer any of your questions. So let's go ahead and take a look at this disc. So this we would technically still call red jade, though now I want to call it cinnamon jade. Anyways, I don't make the rules. I just share them on YouTube. It's very yummy. It's kind of a caramel color. I kind of want to call it caramel jade or caramel jade, depending on where you live. Great for men and women alike. Very, very affordable. What would you guys call this color of jade? What do you think this should be called? I think this is a fabulous piece. And it would be a great worry stone, something that you could even wear on a chain, like under your shirt, and then rub it whenever you're feeling kind of anxious. This disc here is a really unique combination of ice jade and kind of like yellow jade with a spot of orange, but still red. So we call this red and ice jade. And that's because of the translucency. So you can even see it's more translucent where it's ice, where it's colorless, and then it's a little bit more opaque where it's red. And I keep saying this, it is really unusual for red jade to be translucent, and this is kind of a good example of that. Some people would call this color ice and honey. So honey jade, which is what I usually call whiskey jade, and again, that's not the technical term for it, is a juicy, translucent, orangey color. But it's technically still under the category of red jade. Okay, I see some comments in the chat. Let's see what you guys wanted to call this. Ooh, caramel butterscotch. Oh my gosh, butterscotch jade is like such a good name. I love that. Yellow, caramel color. Mason K says juicy and delicious. Juicy and delicious. Honey jade. I love it. I love these suggestions. Keep them coming. So, and then you can see here that the red and ice jade disc that I showed has a match, making it like it could be a stellar pair of earrings. And then I also kind of wanted to show them next to these much more red jade discs. So this is kind of a good example too of like the range of what we call red jade. It can be kind of that yellow orange, kind of moving into that red. And just so you guys know, this is a shorter one today. We are going to be wrapping up pretty soon. So if you have any questions about jade that you haven't asked, be sure to get that into the chat soon. I also wanted to take a closer look at these. Can you see me waving? At these small red discs, really good even color. I feel like these would definitely be called cinnamon jade. I'm just loving this term, and I like the butterscotch term too. Like, I'm ready to get a petition going. Like, let's start calling this cinnamon jade. There's so much you can do with that. Like, ooh, it's spicy. Like, I love it. I just love it. And then I'm not sure if you can tell from the video, but the disc here is more opaque than the beads. In person, it's more noticeable. I just wanted to point out again, like how unusual it is to see the translucency in the red Jadeite jade. These beads, it's hard to explain how spectacular they are because you guys can't see them in person. But is this the longer video? Yeah, they really have such a good glow, and it a lot of times we see red jade and it's still gorgeous even when it's like lighter and more orange and more opaque, like it's still really beautiful, but these are absolute stunners, and in the sunlight, oh my gosh, like even better. Even better. Oh yeah, Mason K mentioned that these discs here with the holes in them, you could actually wear these as earring jackets. Do you guys know what earring jackets are? So earring jackets are when you have like a diamond stud earring and then you put it through a jacket, which is like it might be like a diamond halo or something like that where it has like a hole in the center, and so you can put the post of the earring into it, and then when you wear it, it kind of like dresses up your stud earrings. So that way you can have a pair of earrings that you can wear multiple ways. And they've even started doing things where like you have these jackets that like hang down, or like they've gotten really creative with it, but there's just a lot of ways that you can dress up your diamond studs, and jade discs is obviously like another really, really good way to do that. Looks like we have some activity in the chat. Mason K says quite rare. It probably doesn't seem like red jade's that rare because I'm showing a bunch of pieces of it, but I tell you what, Mason K is the largest supplier of natural jadeite jade in the country, and they don't have like a ton of red jade. I mean, they do. They have more than anybody else, but it's still like you think about like a sapphire supplier and how many sapphires they would have, like in a certain color. And seeing red jade, there's just not as much red jade to even be had. So let's go ahead and take a look at this is Southern Red Agate from my friend Dake. So Southern Red Agate is a gem that is also appreciated in China. So it's like a close friend of jade, but it's not actually related. It's not often sold as a jade simulant, but it's really beautiful, so I wanted to show it so that you know what it looks like. It's certainly possible that someone could accidentally sell Southern Red Agate as red jade. So I spoke to Mason K, and they said that the most common simulant of red jade is actually carnelian. Mason K offers professional gemological testing for jade to authenticate jadeite jade and check for treatment, and they told me that they almost never see red B plus C jade, though it does exist. And for those who don't know, B plus C jade is jadeite jade that starts out really pale and crumbly, and then they acid bleach it, they polymer wax or resin impregnate it, and then they dye it. And a lot of times that's done in China and it's sold out of China. And sometimes, unfortunately, it ends up getting sold as natural jade, even though it's not. And there's a lot of downsides to having that B plus C jade because it's not as durable, it's not as valuable, and it's not as stable as natural jade. It's also worth mentioning that Mason K doesn't test as much red jade as like some other colors of jade, such as green and lavender. And one reason is just, well, I mean, I think less people have red jade for one, but everyone who requests testing has to submit a photo before sending in the piece. And if a piece is very obviously treated, for instance, if it's that like vividly pure red, looks like candy, and they only paid $100 for it, kind of thing, Mason K will relay that via email and recommend that the customer to not send the piece in to save the customer the cost of shipping and testing. So if you have a piece of jade that you're wanting to have tested and you're like a little worried about the expense of it, go ahead and fill out the form at masonk.com and send in the photos, because if they can tell that it's not natural jade from the photos, they'll tell you and it won't cost you anything. So don't be afraid to ask. All right, I'm going to check the chat one more time to see if we have any more questions. Two genders. Is jade rarer than diamond and other colored gemstones? I would say it's a difficult comparison to make. Geologically, I would say that gem quality, jadeite jade, is definitely more rare than diamonds. But you have to keep in mind, too, diamonds are truly rare. People like to say that they're not, but they are. And fine quality diamonds, like like not a drill bit diamond, but like the type of diamond that would go in your engagement ring, that's also very, very rare. So I have tried to look into some stats and comparing the rarity of jadeite jade to other gemstones, and I haven't found enough like hard, reliable facts. So if anyone out there has information about like the actual volume of these different gemstones that are mined, like jadeite jade and diamonds and other colored stones. I would love to see some of that data. And I'd also love to see some data on how much of the jadeite jade that's mined is actually gem quality and is actually getting pushed out to the market. So if you guys stumble upon any literature, please send it my way. And in fact, you can actually join our Jot Discord. The link's in the video description, and you can share it there with all of us because I'm sure we would all love to discuss it. Oh my gosh, you're so right. Yeah, this is such a great point. So, yeah, like one of the things that you're getting, like if you shop at a retail store, and then let's say, because a retail store does more than just sell stuff, right? Like they offer repairs and stuff too. So if you like to take advantage of that service, well, then you're going to have to leave your ring at the store. Well, the store has to have like a safe to put it in and a building and like security to watch it and insurance and everything like that. And so there are so many like benefits that come with having a local independent jewelry store. And so for them to exist, to be able to offer what they offer, for them to be able to offer like warranties and repairs and stuff like that, you know what I mean? Like they have to charge for it. And so it's one of those things where like it might feel like you're spending more when you shop at a jewelry store, but you're actually not. Like you're actually not spending more when you shop at a jewelry store because you're getting so much by way of service, by way of protection, by way of like guarantee. If you have to leave it and have it size, you know what I mean? Like it's insured, it's protected, it's not being shipped. Like it's just like piles and piles of benefits to shopping with a local independent retail jewelry store. So if you are kind of like torn between, buying something online and buying it from your local store, I do implore you to like give your local jewelry store a chance, go in and talk to them, ask them about jade. A lot of jewelry stores actually sell Mason K. So if you even see something on Mason K's website, you can actually ask your local independent retail jeweler about that piece or about a similar piece. And they might even be able to show you an array of comparable items that you can select from so that you can, get the experience of seeing them, trying them on first, and then you get that warranty and that protection and like everything that comes with shopping at a local independent jeweler. Thank you guys so much for joining me again on your Tuesday night. We'll be back next time on Tuesday at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Have a great night, everybody.